Hey everyone, it's Nathan Crosby from the Brooks Bandits. Hope you're all safe and healthy right now. Joining us today is a former captain of the Brooks Bandits, and seeing how we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the 2019 National Junior A Championship, which the Bandits not only hosted but won, and the guy that lifted the trophy first, former captain of the team, Nathan Plessis, joining us. How are you?
Good. How are you? Hope things are well in Brooks.
Things are, well, probably the same out there, and everywhere. It kind of everything's at a halt, and we're all just trying to get through this. You're back at home now in Salmon Arm, BC. What's it like there?
Yeah, I got back about a month ago. We got word that school was getting put online, so they sent us home early. So it's I don't know, Salmon Arm's a pretty quiet town to begin with, so not much to do. Just trying to get my online classes done and do some workouts and cardio while I can.
Well, you've been around that town every summer, and I've been there in the summer. It's always busy. People going there for their vacations. A lot of Albertans go there. You think it's going to be different this year, or people are going to be dying to just go out and get some fresh air?
Yeah, I don't know. This time of year is usually still pretty quiet, but you're right. Coming up in a couple months here, it's supposed to get busy like it does in the summer. But hopefully, if this whole pandemic thing calms down by then, we can get those tourists out. We'd love to have that, but if it's still going on, I think people got to be smart and kind of stay where they are. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to have a good summer with everybody out.
How have you been able to handle all of this, with everything just shutting down and you getting sent home? How have you handled that?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple days was pretty disorienting. We kind of just got word that we were leaving. I left that weekend. I think it was a Thursday we heard, and then I left on Saturday. Got back to Salmon Arm and had to do self-isolation for a couple weeks. So basically just stayed in my house, didn't do anything. And we were on spring break technically for school, so I didn't have any classes or anything. So I kind of just hung out. And then since school started up again a couple weeks ago, I've been pretty busy with classes, and then I've been trying to stay on top of like going for runs, getting like physical activity. I think that really helps me kind of spread the day out a bit. So it's definitely tough and a bit weird, but it's better than some people's situations, so it's not too bad.
How are you finding the courses in your first year, and what are you majoring in?
Yeah, the course is definitely an adjustment again. Coming out of Brooks, I played 3 years there. It was awesome 3 years, but it's kind of tough to jump back into that groove of playing hockey and doing school again like you used to. And obviously the course load in university is a lot more. So I felt around, did a few different courses my first semester, but I've kind of settled into an economics track. So definitely interesting stuff that I'm doing. I like it, but like I said, it's kind of a big adjustment at first.
We'll get to the hockey in a second, but just to mention to people in case they don't know, you're going to Brown University. What's it been like in your first year at such a well-regarded and esteemed institution?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I was actually pretty sad to leave. I'm sure everybody can pretty much say that. I know you guys weren't happy to be done on the year either, but I loved it. I made a ton of good friends. We have a really tight-knit group, and then you make friends outside the hockey team as well. So a little bit different than juniors in that regard, where you kind of branch out a little bit more. But I really enjoyed it. The school was very helpful with keeping me up to date and just kind of getting people through. Like it's a lot of good help. So I enjoyed it a lot.
And how was the season?
Season was all right. We kind of had some ups and downs, not like I was used to in Brooks anyway, but definitely it's a much harder game. I found the college game, especially our conference, ECAC. It's a very old and heavy conference. So we started all right and kind of sputtered a little bit right after kind of the middle of the season, and then picked it up at the end, I thought, but ended up losing to some former Bandits at Colgate in the first round. But other than that, it was a good learning process, and I'm proud of how the team competed.
Describe what it's like when you're on the ice and you see some of your former teammates. You mentioned Colgate. You got, former teammates like Mitch Benson in net, and Arnaud Vachon, who was on that championship winning team with you last year. What's it like lining up against them?
Yeah, for me, Arnaud is probably the weirdest because I played a full 3 years with him. He's a really good buddy of mine. But I think I looked at the numbers, and I think it was like 80% of the teams we played this year, I knew somebody from the Bandits on that team. So you kind of get used to it after a while. Like on the ice, it's all business, but eventually, like after the game, I'd meet up and say hi and just kind of rekindle a little bit. But it's weird a little bit, yeah, for sure. And I noticed that especially with Arnaud and Mitch, who guys I played with for a long time. It's kind of weird to be lining up against them.
It says a lot though about the Bandits that you go to the college hockey ranks and you can usually find a connection on almost all the teams, almost like that it's less than 6 degrees of separation almost when you're talking about this team.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think even my coach at Brown commented on it. Just how I was seeing somebody after every game or something like that. He made a side comment. But yeah, I mean, that speaks to the success that the Bandits have had recruiting players, but also, especially I would say, developing players and getting them to that next level. Because I can attest to seeing everybody that I know there. And then for me, myself, being ready to play right out of the program, I think it's a huge compliment to the whole organization, especially the coaches and just top to bottom, really.
Let's rewind back to your junior career and coming out of BC in the KI, making the Bandits, and then you spent 3 years with the team, ended up being the captain in your third year and lifting the AJ championship and the national championship trophies. What was it in terms of your career trajectory as a hockey player and as a professional? How did the Bandits steer you in the right direction?
Well, I think it was huge. Getting to Brooks out of junior B kind of, I mean, you say you like know what to expect, but you really don't. So you get there, and then for my first year, we were a super competitive team. Went to the national championship finals that year too. So right away, I was kind of integrated into this winning culture and this very driven culture that I give credit to Pap and Scotty for kind of upholding, but also all the guys that played above me, like the captain, Nick Berkusic, that year. He kind of set the standard right away, those guys, that returning group. So, yeah, I think it was huge for me. I was really pushed to be kind of a professional in every regard, showing up ready to play at the rink every day. Even things that weren't on the ice, we always got pushed to be like well kept, on time, respectful. Like that's just a lot of things you learn along the way. So yeah, I think the Bandits were super integral in progressing me to the next level for sure.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the respect part because the Bandits are known for bringing in talent from all over Canada and the U.S. and these players become such important members of the community. But they also there's a standard in how you present yourself in the community that this team really it's important to this team. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's driven home to you basically from day one. And I know every year Papa's driving that into us, and then of course the captains. So yeah, and I think it's only right that we kind of carry ourselves that way, considering how much this community supports the team and gives to us. So I think that's just the right thing to do, and I think that for the most part the Bandits do a really good job of it.
You talked about your first year and the trip to Coburg and the national championship and coming within a goal of winning that championship and the pain of that. But then the redemption story 2 years later on home ice, packed building, winning over Prince George in the national junior A championship final. You know, I remember that day, and I remember the final minute of that game, and it was the longest minute ever, and PG was really pressing. And what was going through your mind during that moment?
Yeah, well, obviously, like you said, we're up early in that game, and then they started to really bear down at the end. I just remember kind of being on the bench in that last minute, and I don't think I think I watched the last when the last shot got blocked. I only saw that on video. I don't think I watched that in the real game. I couldn't, but I think deep down I knew we were going to pull it out. I think the group we had kind of, in my opinion, we earned it more than any other team. in Canada, and that's the reason we won. We put in so much work. We're just a really close knit team that I kind of think that I had a sense that we were gonna pull it out. But yeah, it was definitely a stressful moment.
And do you remember who blocked that shot at the end there?
I think it was Jake Tice. Is that right?
I'm asking you. I think that's right.
I don't know. Like I said, I watched on video.
You're watching.
Yeah. Go back and check the tape on that. I'm not too sure. I just jumped over the bench as soon as that happened. So,
Right behind me on this banner is a picture of Cam McLeese. Let's see if I can angle it up. You can probably see it. But he's hoisting the 2013 then RBC Cup, and that became such an iconic photo for this franchise. So you join Cam as the only two Bandits to lift the National Junior A Championship trophy, and he was there in Brooks during that week when we hosted. And I'm not sure if he had a chance to talk with you and sit down with you, but what do you think you can take away from looking at a photo like that and seeing that you also now are a huge part of this team's history?
Yeah, I obviously I've seen that picture many times. It's in our dressing room. So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to speak with Cam at the tournament, but I think what that picture kind of says that it's so well known. And then with me, the picture of me holding it, it's like it's a bit of like it goes deeper than you. It's not just 1 year that the Bandits have been good. This is 2013, and then again 6 years later, 2019, we won it again. So I think that really speaks to the culture that's in Brooks, the winning environment, and how that gets built on every year. It's not obviously there's setbacks, but it's not big setbacks, and every year we're fielding a pretty good team. So yeah, I think that really just speaks to the culture that's there.
So the other day I interviewed Jake Lee. I gave him a call, and I don't know if you saw the video, but we had a really good chat, and he actually mentioned you and his first year with Brooks, the 18-19 year when we won it all. He said that you were actually probably a bigger influence on him than you realized. Were you aware of this?
I did see the video, but no, I mean that's a very nice compliment. Really appreciate that from Jake. But he was a great guy to have around. So I was glad to have him last year, and I at the end of the year last year I had endorsed him for captain this year because I knew he'd make a great leader. So yeah, that's a nice compliment, but I think it goes both ways to him as well.
Looking forward now, and things are so unpredictable right now. We don't know what's ahead of us here, but hopefully hockey resumes in the fall. What would your advice be to next year's team now that the bar is set at such a high level for this organization? What would be your advice for some of the younger players?
Yeah, I think for the younger players coming in, I think it's important to buy in and follow the lead of those guys that are coming back. I think we'll hopefully have a couple of guys from my last year that'll be returning this year, I think. So definitely, I think buy into that, buy into the winning culture and the culture of respect and just hard work, because that's what makes the Bandits successful. And we're good every year because of that. It's not just given to you when you get there. So I think work hard, but have fun with it. And the most fun you'll have is holding a championship. So yeah, don't get distracted by other things. Just kind of stay on that track and buy into what they're preaching there, because it's working.
The National Junior A Championship, how we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of it. And we haven't really heard from you since then because, of course, life happens. You go off to Brown and you do your thing there. But it's your chance now just to maybe give a shout out to everyone in Brooks, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think I said my goodbye at the parade last year, but I guess I'll just kind of repeat what I said there, that the community, the organization has meant so much to me, progressed me to a place I am today and where I want to keep going. I think that's all building blocks that started in Brooks as well. So yeah, I love playing in Brooks. I love the people there, my billets, everybody. So just keep supporting the Bandits and keep being Brooks, because it's a great place to be.
Awesome. Well, Nathan, wish you and your family health and happiness during these difficult times. Really appreciate taking some time to talk to us, especially after hearing that you're still doing some courses and trying to stay in shape. Basically the opposite of what I'm doing right now.
Thanks a lot. You too.